My name is Katherine Sasser. I'm from Columbia, Missouri. I'm an educator. I've been an educator for 14 years.
You made me want to see this book. It has a lot of pretty books.
Yeah, there's a lot of good books, definitely. So Lit Lunch is kind of a community event every Wednesday where the people who run the store sit down with us and share some books about a given topic. And so the topic today was just the topic of transgender. See ya. See ya. So when I was in high school, I really started to explore for myself what it means to be a human being in this world and what I believe about who I am and who God is, which really manifested in college. So the way that I gave my energy in college was really, in my mind, in service to God, among others who were in service to God. So after college, I met a guy and we got married. We were very involved in our church life. I love you too, babe. When I had kids, it was a moment where I had to decide to live for myself and really understand what is it that I value, who do I want to be, and how can I fight for myself in the world. So this is a little bit of a counter value to this idea of serving God and serving others. It wasn't necessarily this like mothering, nurturing, I need to be with my kids all the time. It was, man, I have a huge responsibility to raise these humans, and if I'm also going to be raising myself at the same time, then I have to carve out space for that. So that was kind of an important formative moment for me as a mom, and just as a woman. And then, not shortly after that, our oldest child gave us a new perspective and worldview because they were presenting as gender expansive since before they could even communicate with words. So we started to see signs and started to process together what do these signs mean as they were participating in some gender non-conforming behaviors. Of course, that child also didn't conform to the church's expectations of what it meant to be a little boy. And I knew almost immediately in the church space that I inhabited, I did not feel safe or comfortable with my child being in daycare in that space. The God that I believed in before I had a gender expansive kid wouldn't have made space for that gender expansive kid in their design. And that was unacceptable to me because I knew at my core, and I know at my core, that when my child is fully who she is as a transgender or gender expansive person, she is the most clear picture of God that I've ever experienced or witnessed, which is slightly emotional for me because she's amazing. I definitely moved away from kind of the structure, organized church space, just in terms of kind of this isn't a safe space for my kid, but I still had to reconcile what are my beliefs. So as the parent of a gender expansive kid who was also a person searching for God, I came back to this, Christian faith tradition and had believed when I left the last church I was in that churches that are truly affirming don't exist in my community. But I was wrong, and I'm so grateful that I was wrong. Even in Columbia, Missouri, a place that maybe I don't give enough credit for all the time, there are faith communities that are inclusive of a diversity of identities in a way that is authentic. Not just, hey, come and be welcome in our space, but only if you can be fixed in this certain way. But hey, come lead us and teach us from the fullness of who you are as a queer person, as a black person, as a poor person, as a person with disabilities. Speak to us from that experience and help us see God and understand God through that identity, because that is where God is most. So the fact that those conversations are happening in global denominations tells me that there is a world where a progressive point of view can coexist with a structured faith system or a church system. So if I had all the money, time, and power in the world to do whatever I wanted, I think I would split it in two. So I think I would spend time having conversations with people, affirming who they are, affirming what they want and what they need, and particularly as it relates to letting them know that there is no institution, there's no school, there's no church, there's no building where they don't belong, and that I want to walk alongside them, and I want them to show me the way and how to make those spaces more inclusive for them. I think I would spend the other half of the time calling out the spaces where we have to do better, where we have to be more inclusive, where we have to be more understanding, where we have to open our doors wider. My life is so much richer for my child, for having been a witness to the gift that she is. And she's different, and it's a challenge, and the world will be scary for her, but my life is and will never be the same, and is so much better for having her in it. And so to extend that to all of us, our life is better and will never be the same for having had more diversity and more voices that are different than ours in a room together, moving us all forward.